Some people fear aging so much they'll rub anything on their face except actual common sense. At this point, the beauty industry could bottle radiator fluid, call it Youth Serum XL, and someone would slather it on before reading the warning label. We have creams made of things that should never leave a biology lab, gadgets that look like medieval torture devices advertised as skin rejuvenators, and wellness influencers casually microwaving their collagen like it's popcorn. And the wildest part? Half these anti-aging tricks don't turn back the clock. They punch it forward, hard. And trust me, the disasters you're about to witness make this seem downright reasonable. 1. The first anti-aging attempt on our tour of regret comes from a man who decided sunscreen was too mainstream, so he replaced it with the one substance he believed was more powerful: mayonnaise. Yes, mayonnaise, the same condiment responsible for 70% of abandoned sandwiches and 100% of potato salad-induced guilt. He slathered it on like he was prepping himself for a sandwich-related ritual sacrifice. Shockingly, the sun did not respect the power of emulsified eggs. Instead, it slow-roasted him like a rotisserie chicken left on extra crispy. By the time he reached the ER, he looked less youthful glow and more experimental barbecue technique. But hey, he smelled great. Dermatologists everywhere aged a decade just hearing this story. 2. Then there was the woman who read online that red wine was good for the skin and, instead of drinking it like a functioning human, decided to soak her entire face in it nightly. She called it her Merlot mask, which sounds glamorous until you realize she was basically marinating herself like a steak, preparing for a midlife crisis cookout. After 3 weeks, her skin didn't get younger. It just started staining things. Her pillow, purple. Her towels, purple. Her cat, purple. She looked like she'd lost a fight with a fruit roll-up. Her dermatologist told her antioxidants are great, but not when applied like she's basting herself for Thanksgiving. She aged faster from the stress of explaining it than from time itself. 3. My personal favorite. The guy who tried to tighten his skin using a vacuum cleaner attachment. Yes, a literal shop vac, as if youthful skin could be achieved by reversing the aging process via suction. His logic was simple. If it sucks hard enough, it'll pull the wrinkles out. What it actually pulled out was dignity. Also several layers of skin. He emerged from the attempt looking like he'd gone head-to-head with an octopus and lost by unanimous decision. Friends asked if he'd taken up backyard boxing. He said it was a beauty treatment, and they aged 3 years instantly, just processing that sentence. 4. There was also the influencer who claimed cold spoons under the eyes were too slow. So she upgraded to refrigerating an entire metal cooking pan and pressing it to her face every morning. She bragged that it shocked her skin awake. It also shocked her into early forehead wrinkles because she kept flinching like she was being hit with a frozen pizza tray, which, effectively, she was. After a month of this, she didn't look younger. She looked like she'd been living in a walk-in freezer for tax reasons. But she got sponsorship deals, so in the end, her bank account aged backwards, even if her face didn't. 5. A man in his 50s got obsessed with ancient healing practices after watching exactly one documentary. So naturally, he decided the best anti-aging treatment was smearing his body with wet clay from his backyard. The issue? He didn't live near a healing volcanic spring. He lived behind a Walmart. Instead of a revitalizing mineral mask, he coated himself in mud enriched with absolutely nothing except pesticides and the faint spiritual residue of tire tracks. He proudly announced he felt connected to the earth, moments before developing a rash so aggressive it practically filed noise complaints. He aged 5 years apologizing to the urgent care staff. 6. Another classic, the woman who attempted DIY Botox by injecting saline into her forehead after watching a TikTok. Because apparently the sentence, "You need a license to do that," has lost all cultural meaning. She celebrated the success for several hours before gravity reclaimed the situation and her skin inflated unevenly like a sad biological air mattress. She spent the next week looking permanently surprised, confused, and mildly betrayed, which, ironically, is exactly how she described her experience with modern beauty advice. The good news? The effects were temporary. The bad news? The memory will haunt her every time she sees a needle for the rest of her adult life. 7. Then there's the guy who heard that facial exercises keep the skin firm, but instead of doing normal ones, he invented his own, involving screaming into a mirror for 20 minutes straight to tone the jawline. By day 3, his voice was gone, his jaw hurt, and his neighbors were concerned enough to film evidence for future police reports. His skin did not get tighter. His stress wrinkles, however, multiplied like he was speed-running the aging process. The only thing toned was the HOA's patience. 8. One woman swore by the snail facial trend, but instead of going to a spa, she decided to catch actual garden snails from her backyard and let them roam her face nightly. She called it natural. Her friends called it grounds for a wellness intervention. The snails did not distribute magical healing slime. They mostly tried to escape, leaving uneven trails that did absolutely nothing except attract ants. When she woke up one morning with 3 snails missing and 1 stuck in her hair, she decided maybe, just maybe, science still has a role to play in skincare. 9. A man read that oxygen boosts youth, so he took it upon himself to sleep with a leaf blower pointed at his face, believing the constant airflow would stimulate skin renewal. Instead, he dried himself out like a human jerky. He woke up looking like a salted pretzel left on a car dashboard. His wife said he aged 5 years overnight. He countered that she didn't understand innovation. The leaf blower was confiscated. Their marriage survived, but barely. 10. Someone once decided that since babies have incredibly smooth skin, the secret must be baby oil. So she covered her entire body in it before sunbathing, effectively turning herself into a human rotisserie. She bragged about achieving a deep, youthful glow. But what she achieved was the kind of burn that dermatologists show in presentations titled, "Why Natural is Not Always Better." The oil didn't preserve her youth. It preserved her in SPF-free regret. 11. A fitness guru insisted ice baths were the secret to immortality, but misunderstood the assignment entirely. Instead of dipping for a few minutes, she stayed in for 45, emerging with the grace of a chilled rotisserie chicken. Her skin didn't look younger. It looked like she'd been stored incorrectly. She shivered through every filmed apology, explaining why she now had minor frostbite. But, hey, engagement was up. 12. Someone tried face steaming by placing their head directly over a boiling pot, towel over the head, sauna style. Except they leaned too close, got startled by a bubble, jerked forward, and essentially pressure-cooked their forehead like it was ravioli night. The treatment did open her pores, permanently according to her dermatologist. She now recommends patience as her anti-aging secret, which is the polite way of saying, don't do what I did. 13. A man discovered cupping therapy but refused to pay for the equipment. So he improvised with shot glasses and a candle. Fire was involved, suction was involved, panic was involved. His back looked like it had been attacked by a polka-dotted octopus with boundary issues. Worse, he couldn't explain it to colleagues without sounding like he lost a drunken betting pool. But the good news? The circles eventually faded. The humiliation, however, achieved immortality. 14. There was the woman who rubbed raw lemon on her face daily because she heard vitamin C was anti-aging. She forgot the part where highly acidic fruit plus sunlight equals chemical warfare. After one sunny stroll, she developed a burn pattern so precise it looked like the lemon was trying to brand her. Her dermatologist told her the method is known, ironically, as phytophotodermatitis, which is Latin for, please stop treating your face like a salad. 15. And finally for today, the man who bought an anti-aging crystal that was supposed to absorb wrinkles. He held it to his face for hours daily, convinced it would vacuum away time. Instead, he developed a pressure mark in the exact shape of the crystal. So, instead of wrinkles, he now had a permanent geometric reminder of why magical thinking should never be applied directly to the skin. But on the bright side, if he ever needs an example of sunk cost fallacy, he can just point to his cheek. 16. There was a man who decided collagen supplements were too slow, so he tried to absorb youth by sleeping on a pillowcase coated in raw egg whites. He called it protein osmosis, which is a bold phrase for someone who failed 9th grade biology. Every morning, he woke up feeling tighter, which is technically true. Dried egg whites are basically nature's superglue. What he didn't anticipate was smelling like a breakfast buffet gone wrong. His dog began licking his face every night, which he interpreted as healing support instead of, "You taste like omelets." The final straw came when he rolled over in bed and his cheek peeled off the pillowcase with an audible crunch. He didn't look younger. He just looked like he'd been laminated by a confused chef. 17. One woman became convinced that youth was locked inside fruit, so instead of eating it, she taped slices of oranges, bananas, and occasionally papaya directly onto her skin. She called it vitamin infusion. I call it agricultural cosplay. She walked around her house looking like a charcuterie board in crisis. At one point, a banana slice slid down her cheek mid-video call, prompting her coworkers to ask if she was being held hostage by a produce aisle. She insisted her skin felt fresher, and it probably did, because she was constantly being exfoliated by fruit acid and disappointment. When fruit flies began circling her desk like tiny paparazzi, she finally reconsidered her methods. Oranges aged better than she did during the experiment. 18. A man tried to hydrate from the outside by wrapping himself in plastic wrap overnight, convinced it would trap moisture and plump his cells. He basically turned himself into a human leftover. In the morning, he didn't emerge dewy and radiant. He slithered out like a microwave burrito that had lost the will to live. His skin was not hydrated. His dignity was not intact. And his partner, after witnessing the midnight rustling noises, asked if he was training to become a chrysalis. The best part is that he still insists it kind of worked, which is the skincare equivalent of saying a house fire kind of warmified the place. He aged faster than the plastic he was wrapped in. 19. A woman discovered that celebrities used gold leaf on their faces, so she tried the budget version, aluminum foil. She pressed it onto her skin nightly, claiming it reflected bad energy and trapped youth. What it actually trapped was heat, sweat, and the growing concern of everyone who saw her. She looked like a rejected superhero, whose powers involved bad decisions and conductivity. One night she fell asleep near a heating vent, woke up with the foil fused to her cheek, and had to choose between ripping it off or spending the day looking like a poorly wrapped baked potato. Her anti-aging journey ended there, but her reputation as the woman who microwaved herself will live forever. 20. A man decided laughter lines were caused by, you guessed it, laughing. So he spent months trying not to smile, no jokes, no fun, no joy. Just a grim determination to outsmart time by becoming the human equivalent of a DMV waiting room. His friends stopped inviting him places because he responded to every joke like he was grading tax documents. The irony? He developed tension lines from holding his face still, deep, dramatic wrinkles that made him look like a Renaissance painting of guilt. Eventually, he cracked one day when someone sent him a video of a goat on a slide, and the laugh that escaped him aged him 10 more years instantly. His experiment ended with the realization that humor is unavoidable and aging doesn't negotiate. 21. One influencer became obsessed with face yoga, which is fine, until she took it to Olympic-level extremes. She spent hours contorting her face into positions that looked like she was trying to summon a demon or pass a kidney stone through her expression alone. She claimed it lifted her muscles. Her followers claimed it looked painful and possibly illegal. After weeks of this, her skin wasn't tighter, but she had trained entire new wrinkles into existence from repetitive strain. She essentially speed-ran facial aging by treating her forehead like cardio equipment. But don't worry, she launched a course teaching others how to do the exact same thing. Nothing ages faster than herd mentality. 22. A man heard that sleeping on silk pillowcases prevents wrinkles, but silk was too expensive, so he downgraded to the smoothest thing I own, a pair of gym shorts. He stretched them over his pillow like he was upholstering furniture for a frat house. Every night he slid around like he was sleeping on a grease slip-and-slide. Instead of preventing wrinkles, he woke up with elastic marks across his face that made him look like a malfunctioning barcode scanner. His wife asked why he was voluntarily recreating the world's saddest spa. He insisted he felt younger. She insisted he stop explaining his skincare routine at dinner. 23. One woman tried reverse aging meditations, where she repeated the mantra, "I am getting younger every morning," while staring into a mirror. She did this for months. Her stress levels skyrocketed, her sleep got worse, and her reflection did not cooperate. Instead of glowing with youthful vitality, she developed a permanent expression of existential disappointment, the kind you see on people who have just realized their warranty expired decades ago. But she kept going, insisting the universe would eventually get the message. The universe did not. The only thing getting younger was her patience, which evaporated completely when she caught her mirror fogging up and thought it was a sign. It was not. It was humidity. 24. A man found an article claiming that sweating flushes toxins. So he took it as permission to avoid showering because my skin needs natural oils to stay young. Unfortunately, natural oils turned out to be code for biohazard. His friends began standing several inches farther away. His shirts developed structural rigidity. His pores were so clogged they filed a union. He claimed his skin was glowing, which was technically true. It shined because it was coated in a reflective layer of neglect. When someone finally dragged him to a dermatologist, she took one look and said, "This is not anti-aging. This is anti-hygiene." His youth wasn't preserved. It fled the scene. 25. A woman tried cryosculpting using the budget method, placing bags of frozen peas on strategic parts of her face every night. The problem? Frozen peas thaw. So halfway through the night, she'd wake up soaked in cold vegetable runoff, looking like she'd lost a pillow fight with a salad. Despite this, she kept insisting it was tightening her jawline. The only thing tightening was her frustration as she fished peas out of her sheets every morning. Eventually, she switched to corn, claiming it was more ergonomic. Her skin didn't improve, but her freezer became a tribute to agricultural skincare experiments gone horribly wrong. 26. A man attempted to stimulate collagen by slapping his face for 10 minutes a day. He read online that it increases circulation, which is true. If you ignore that, it also increases redness, swelling, and the risk of your family staging a wellness intervention. He looked like he'd just confessed something to an enemy spy. The longer he did it, the more broken capillaries he developed, which aged him faster than the wrinkles he was trying to prevent. But he claimed he felt invigorated, which is a generous translation of, "I have made a terrible mistake, but refuse to admit it." 27. One woman tried ancient salt therapy, which involved rubbing coarse sea salt directly onto her face to polish away the years. She was essentially exfoliating with driveway gravel. After a week, her skin was so irritated, she looked like she was cosplaying a tomato. She kept insisting that the burning sensation meant it was working, which is what people also say about pepper spray. Her dermatologist explained that salt is for food, not for resurfacing your skull. But she didn't listen until a flake got into her eye, and suddenly aging gracefully became more appealing than aging painfully. 28. A man read that cold showers boost longevity, so he took exclusively ice-cold showers for months. Not warm, not cool, Arctic. He emerged daily looking like he'd just fought off a polar bear using only pessimism. Did he look younger? No. Did he complain constantly? Yes. His skin dried out, his lips cracked, and his enthusiasm for life froze solid around week 2. But he refused to stop, because quitting would mean admitting comfort has value. Eventually he got sick, because shocking your immune system every morning isn't wellness, it's recreational suffering. 29. A woman discovered an online forum claiming that taping your forehead at night prevents wrinkles by immobilizing the muscles. Reasonable enough, until she used duct tape, industrial strength, hardware store, built to repair car bumpers duct tape. She woke up every morning ripping it off like she was reenacting a dramatic hostage escape. Her skin paid the price. She traded one faint wrinkle for 14 fresh ones, plus the emotional trauma of peeling adhesive off her hairline at dawn. But she insists it was cheaper than Botox, which is true if you don't count the long-term therapy bills. 30. A man believed drinking 12 glasses of water per day would flush out aging. Hydration is great, but he went full Niagara Falls and nearly dehydrated himself by flushing out essential electrolytes. He spent his days running to the bathroom like he was training for a marathon sponsored by regret. His skin did not tighten. His schedule, however, became a prison of hydration math. When a doctor gently explained he was essentially drowning himself from the inside, he nodded thoughtfully and said, "So, 13 glasses? Some people learn by doing, others don't learn at all." 31. And finally, the ultimate attempt. A woman who thought the secret to youth was avoiding sunlight entirely. Not sunscreen, not shade, full vampire mode. She blacked out her windows, only left the house at dusk, and wore a hat large enough to generate its own gravitational pull. After months of this, her skin was indeed pale, but she also developed a vitamin D deficiency so severe she aged herself into exhaustion. She looked like a candle someone kept blowing out. When she finally returned to daylight, birds scattered like she was an omen. The sun didn't age her, her obsession did. And there you have it, a full tour of humanity's boldest attempts to outrun aging by sprinting face first into it. If this is what the war on wrinkles looks like, then time isn't our enemy. It's our supervising adult. So tell me, which attempt deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award in bad decisions? Drop your vote in the comments, confess your own skincare crimes, and if you somehow enjoyed this chaos, like and subscribe so we can explore even dumber things next time.